So I wrote an article about the game.
Oh, here we go.
And it actually did not get published yet as a recording. I don't
Okay.
think it's going to, but one of the things I said in the article was that, and I can even just read it, is that in my opinion, I think the more I see Cade Cunningham succeed, the less I'm patient with Killian Hayes. Now,
Agreed.
I will read it directly from the article. Let me say this before I talk about Killian Hayes. He is a talented young player that, with a lot of work and development, can be an outstanding guard in this league. The nights that Killian excels, it's apparent to see why Troy Reaver selected the guard out of France on the 18th of November, 2020. Killian's size and defensive ability matched with his playmaking make him an intriguing prospect. However, with Cade Cunningham being part of the equation, who does everything on the court better than Killian, Hayes immediately becomes a background player on the court and is difficult to track his impact on the offensive end. Despite Hayes' strong shooting performance towards the beginning of the season, he's actually down in scoring and he is shooting worse overall from the field.
I think that's an extremely accurate assessment. And honestly, from that, I feel like the path going forward for him, if he does turn into a good player for the team for the long haul, okay. But honestly, I feel like he's a solid get his value as high as we can and flip him.
Yep, 100%. Well, and listen, it's you gotta see what you have with him, but you also have to make a clear decision with him because you can keep trying this lineup with Killian and Cade starting together. It doesn't work offensively. Yes, defensively, it's great to have both of those guys on the court, but there's a reason why at the end of the games we do not close with Killian and Cade together because they just don't naturally work together. And the other thing is that Killian requires the ball to be in his hands. And a lot of his playmaking, he just gets the ball, brings it up the court, and within 6 seconds, he doesn't have the ball anymore. And then he's just standing in a corner. And if he can't create his own offense, if he can't score with inside the 3-point arc, because he went 2 of 8 from shooting last night against Utah. 1 of 1 from the 3.
Oh, Jesus.
So he was 1 of 7 inside the arc. A lot of those shots were in the paint. And it's so frustrating because a lot of his takes to the rim, he's trying to avoid contact. But the problem is that that should be what he goes to is contact because he's 6'5". He has a big body. Use that to your advantage. You literally have the capabilities to be an all-star. Like
that's bizarre.
You have those tangibilities. You know what I'm saying? Like you have those tangible things that make up an all-star, but you just for some reason play terrified. It's like Ben Simmons with a fro. It's so weird.
You know what's hilarious is for all of my Yankees fans out there, of which there are not many, but if you're there, you'll get this, or baseball fans. He is to the Pistons what Clint Frazier was to the New York Yankees. And for those who don't know, basically, it's this guy who had all the potential in the world. He could have been our starting right fielder or left fielder, sorry. And every time he got the opportunity, every now and again, you'd get a glimpse, just a little glimpse. He'd hit a couple home runs. He'd make some diving catches. He kind of seemed like the guy. And then all of a sudden, he would just get really spooked and basically shit the bed. And it was just like, sorry, bud. And now he's a Cub.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
We gave him a shot for a little while, and now he would argue that the Yankees basically threw him to the corner, blah, blah, blah. Fuck him. But like, same thing with Killian Hayes is that we've been hearing very similarly, like, oh my God, just give him a chance. Just give him a chance. He just needs time on the court, blah, 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 blah. We keep hearing this, and it's like, we're not saying he has no talent. Right. We're not saying that he isn't good. Right. But he clearly is not playing to what he could, and whether it's something he can get over the hump and achieve or not is really entirely up to him.
Yeah. 100. Well, not only that, but also he just has to prove what he can bring and add to his game. Now, personally, I think that the team would be far better off with splitting their minutes and making them both run the point with their own lineups. And if Cade has the ball, like number one ball responsibilities in the start with all those guys on the starting lineup. And then Killian can have a lineup where he can, he can play with Bull, try to do some give and go action, pick and roll, kind of run the offense around those guys off the bench.
You and I have talked about many times off pod about the future of the Pistons and where they're headed and stuff like that. And we've laughed at length about Pistons Twitter's takes about the Pistons, that kind of thing. Right. And I think for me, I've reached the point of to where the only guy that I'm 100% totally sold on that to me is a Piston for this rebuild for the next, however long a rebuild should go, maybe 5-10 years for this future of this franchise. It's Cade Cunningham, and everything else to me is a tradable asset. And that's not to say that I don't want Sadiq Bey on this franchise and to win a championship with us. And same thing for Isaiah Stewart and perhaps Diallo, although I'm not as sold on him as others. But some of these guys or whatever, like
right.
Oh, and Jeremy Grant, although I think it's basically a done deal that he's getting fucking traded.
I mean, yeah, his how like just his deal is just so like the deal that we're getting, all the calls that we're getting, it's just like just one of those things where it just feels like it's destined at this point. I've just accepted it's like, all right, it's gonna happen. I don't know where, I don't know to who. I would love to see I know Memphis is a team that was named. I'd be intrigued to see Jeremy Grant with John Morant. That'd be really fun. I know the Knicks have been talked about, so I'd be interested to see what that deal with. Listen, I am open to any deal. I'm excited to see what happens.
For sure.
Don't bring back Talen Horton-Tucker, so help me God. But as long as we don't have him, I'm good, because I mean I think he could be a good player.
The Lakers really have nothing to give us. I think the only team
that's the point. They really just have Talen Horton-Tucker and a couple second round picks.